What up, boys, and welcome back to yet another video. So, as you probably know right now, the cat is out of the bag, and a lot of people, including myself, was lucky enough to be invited by Blizzard to try out the War Within Alpha before anyone else. And not only did we get to try out Alpha War Within, but we also got invited to a Q&A session together with two senior WoW developers, Michael Bybee and Sean McCann. So we could ask pretty much whatever questions we wanted to, and they could choose if they wanted to answer them and to what degree they wanted to answer those questions. Now, we were not allowed to actually show you guys the Q&A, but we were allowed to talk about the responses from the WoW devs and also the questions that we asked the WoW devs. So we're going to dive right into that. First of all, though, just know that the complete gold guide, the 0 to 10 million gold guide, is being updated for the War Within. I've done a lot of testing on the alpha, and I can't wait to put in the best ways to make gold in the War Within into the gold guide. So if you already have the gold guide, expect that to come, well, before the War Within officially releases. If you don't have the gold guide, you can pick it up with the link down below in the description, and just know that it does get constantly updated completely for free. So even 5 years from now, when there's a new WoW expansion, I will update the gold guide with the best gold farms in that expansion completely for free, sent directly to your email. So my questions, and you guys are going to laugh because my questions were not like the questions the other content creators asked. They were definitely way more targeted towards gold making, which is what I mainly do, right? So my first question was the following. In Dragonflight, we saw a lot of previously unobtainable items making their way back to the game. Are you planning on bringing back more items in the War Within? Like the highly requested Caravan Brutosaur from BFA, the Longboy mount. And it was Sean that answered this question. He had a smirky smile, and then Michael told him, well, Sean, looks like you want to answer this one. And he said that he didn't know. Like, he couldn't comment on the Longboy or the Brutosaur and the return of it. But it was said in with a smirky smile. I'm not sure how to how to process it. Like, is it coming, but they don't want to reveal it? Is it not coming? Does he actually not know? Like Sean did say that he didn't have the Longboy himself on his personal WoW account, and he would love to have it. So I'm not sure, but at least they couldn't disclose any information about the mighty Caravan Brutosaur during the Q&A. Now, the next question that I asked was also gold making related, and it was, Dragonflight was the first expansion to not have tradable open world epic drops. Is this something that you're planning on reintroducing, and will there be tradable collection items from specific zones or specific mobs like we saw with the zone drop mounts in BFA, like where every single zone had a mount that could drop in that zone? Previous expansions, you've been able to kill, let's say, green whelplings to get the emerald whelpling battle pet, blue whelplings to get the azure whelpling pet, and so on. Like TBC as well, where you kill the fireflies and get the firefly pet. Is it going to be something like that? And they didn't know. Like, in their defense, these were two senior WoW devs working on a lot of stuff, but not everything in the game. There's so many people involved, and there was a lot of questions that we asked them that, frankly, they didn't know. Like, that's an honest thing. Like, I don't know if that's being worked on. Like, for instance, one thing that is highly been asked by the community is solo shuffle, right? Like, how do you fix the issue with solo shuffle for healers, the long queues that we have? And that was something like they didn't know if there was anything in the making, any fixes that they were working on, because they were not on the PvP team of WoW developers, so they didn't know that. That was my two questions that got through, though. There was like 250 questions that didn't get answered because the 1 hour was up. But there was a lot of interesting questions that I didn't ask myself personally, but other content creators asked that I thought was very interesting. For instance, since we're on the topic of PvP, rated battlegrounds would have a solo random queue by default. So you could just open up your dungeon finder, and you can queue up for a rated battleground, and you're going to be matched with other people of your rating, right? So you don't need a pre-made to go into it. It's just way easier. And it was the same thing with a lot of things for the War Within. Like a lot of things tailored around you being able to play the game all by yourself. There's a lot more focus on solo content, as well as nothing that you really do is for that specific character, but more for your account with the warbands. There's so many examples of this. For instance, if you're going to do delves, you will be followed by this companion that you level up as you complete delves, and he's going to be the same level on all of your tunes in your warband. So if you're going to like freshly dinged out and you do your first ever delve, you can be with level 40 companion, which will do way more damage than you. So pretty cool. On the topic of delves, you can get tier sets from doing delves, and delves can be done solo. I got a whole separate video coming with delves and showing you guys how a delve work. But you can get it because you can get progress towards the Great Vault from the doing the delves, which you can get an item that you can use the catalyst to make tier set items with. The loot from the highest delve was also addressed in the Q&A, and if you do like the highest like difficulty delves, like between 8 and 10, you will get loot that's equal to doing a mythic +5. And Bronze, like Brand Bronzebeard is the first companion that will be with you in Delves in Season 1, but there's going to be a new companion in every single season of the game. And you can also choose how the NPC should assist you inside the delve. It's really cool. There was also a question asked about professions, which I know a lot of you gold makers got questions about. And pretty much professions, they liked how it played out in Dragonflight. They're going to keep the same system for professions. They didn't know if there was anything in the works to be able to respec the points that you spend on your profession system or spec. However, a lot of people have been putting some questions about the work orders and the system of work orders. Like, one thing is being able to place a work order without contributing any mats yourself, meaning that the crafter is crafting at a loss or pretty much no profit whatsoever. They didn't know if there was something to fix this. However, and something that I thought was really cool, you know how there's daily quests that requires you to craft items from work orders, etc., but you can never get any. Now you will have NPCs, like literally NPCs will make crafting orders on like they will put them up. Like, I want 2 helmets made, and you can choose to make those 2 helmets for the NPC. That's one thing to again have an easier time without having to interfere with any people. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I thought that was really cool. And there was also no new mini games for professions. One thing that we do know, though, that we can test in this first build of the alpha is that there's actually this mini game for herbalism, but that was replied in the Q&A with it fitted the zone and the quest line and everything like that, but there's going to be no mini games for professions outside of that. So if you jump into the first build of alpha, if you're lucky enough to get in on these first waves, and you have herbalism on your tune, you probably notice that and think to yourself, aha, I wonder if there's something similar for other professions. That's not the case, though. Nothing that's planned, at least. There was also a question that I thought was really revealing in terms of a grinding system. And they liked and they really enjoyed the feedback on having no grinding systems on Dragonflight. Like, you don't have to farm endless amounts of Azurite, for instance, to keep up. There's going to be no systems like that in the War Within. So you can take, like, from the WoW devs, words himself, you can pretty much take a couple of days off and don't feel like you're left behind on anything because you didn't do your daily grinding. So that's also really cool. Now, that was not every single question that was asked, but there's a lot of questions that went on like technical things like what have you done to the engine of WoW. There was some storyline questions, more PvP questions that wasn't really answered because they were not on the PvP team, so they didn't know the answers to that. But overall, it was a great experience. Sean and Michael, they did a great job answering the questions as best as they could. And there was also a lot of things that couldn't be answered, like they didn't want to tell us, right? Like there was things discovered in the first build of alpha that could lead to some mysterious thing, like what does Dalaran have to do with the war within? No comment. Can't talk about that. Wait until launch. Even when you step foot into the expansion for the first time, and the starting quest line that you do is just for this build, because they don't want to spoil how the expansion will actually start when the game launches. So that's also pretty cool. There's a lot of cool things that you could tell they wanted to let us know, but they just couldn't. They wanted to keep it a secret. So I just hope that's the case with the Longboy, the Brutusar as well. But that was pretty much it for this the summary of the Q&A, at least the things that I was personally interested in. So big thank you for watching the video. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, because that way you'll be notified as soon as another video drops. And of course, don't forget to check out the 0 to 10 million gold guide, which is getting the War Within updates completely for free. It's going to be linked down below in the description. With that being said though, thank you all so much for watching. See you in tomorrow's video. Bye bye.